final featured writer tonight is Laura Vasilion. And Laura Vasilion has written feature articles and business profiles for national and international publications like Reader's Digest, Newsweek, Entrepreneur, and the Chicago Tribune. Her novel Maelstrom, set in World War II Iceland, was inspired by her father's experiences as a Navy photomate, which I'd never heard of until I met Laura. Navy photomate, and explores the war's ultimate cost to those who fought in it and those who survived it. Her upcoming memoir chronicles her friendship with a 90-year-old Frenchman. Her love of travel and cultures, and various cultures, led her to create Talking to the World, the Chicago Now blog, in which she interviews one person from every country in the world. How many so far?
About 30.
Okay, so she's done 30 out of... Free of political judgments, religious rhetoric, and self-serving agendas, her intention is to better understand the world and share that understanding with us. You can find her blog on chicagonow.com/talking-world.com. Laura Vasilion.
So first I want to say thank you to Anne and to Kevin, because you do so many wonderful things for writers, so thank you for everything you do. I'm going to read 3 posts from the blog. The first one is a post I did on Wales, and then I'm going to do one on Russia, and then end with an essay. So in 2008, I met a charming Welshman named Donald at a conference in Iceland. Like my father, Donald was stationed in Iceland during World War II. 2 years after we met, Donald passed away. Donald's son, Ian, agreed to be my Welsh interviewee for the blog. Ian lives in Shepstow, Wales, where he is the director of several companies. I began the interview by asking him to look out a window and describe the scene. I see the first Severn Bridge, a smaller version of the Golden Gate Bridge. Today, NATO helicopters are flying over it, and NATO policemen are stationed on it. President Obama and all the NATO leaders are having a conference 10 miles away. It is very unusual to see armed police here. What is unique about where you live? The 2 rivers separating England and Wales, and the Wye River. Dispel a myth or stereotype about Welsh people. Not all Welsh people are from mining or steelworking families. There are no longer any major mines in Wales and only 3 steelworks. Agriculture, though, has always been a major industry in Wales. Today, Wales is also a high-tech development area. What would you like Americans to understand about Wales? Wales is a very beautiful country made greener by the frequent rain. It also has its own Celtic-based language and a rich cultural heritage of song, music, and poetry, epitomized in the many festivals held all over. What is your opinion of the United States? In 1974, as a 19-year-old student, I answered an advertisement in the Times newspaper. It read, "Is the American child a monster? Find out by becoming a camp counselor." This was the year Nixon was impeached. There was huge turmoil in the country, yet I had a fantastic memory of celebrating July 4th at Camp Shahola in the Poconos. There was such optimism in the people I was with in that post-Vietnam but Watergate era. My eventual conclusion was that the American child can indeed be a monster, but with a heart of gold and a great can-do spirit. Overall, my opinion of the United States is that it is a very misunderstood country, but a land of huge opportunity where immigrants can become real Americans rather than foreign residents. What is your greatest fear? Peace will be broken by terrorists. The world seems to be in as much turmoil now as ever in history, and it's happening very close to Wales, in Ukraine and the Middle East. My other great fear is that the world will not be able to feed itself, given current birth rates. What gives you hope? looking at the sun, thinking how good life can be if only everyone could be at peace with others and themselves. Please share a favorite quote. It is not the cleverest of species who survive, but those most adaptable to change. Charles Darwin. And so the next post is from a young man who lives in Russia. He's a software engineer. I met him through my husband, who played chess online with him. And so this is Alex. When I started this blog, my intention was to give people around the world a voice. My pledge to them was not to judge or dispute their views, no matter how difficult it may be to hear what they say. Alex, a software engineer in Russia, reminded me of that pledge. He warned me I might not like some of his answers. I assured him he wouldn't offend me. I wanted a different perspective. Alex certainly gave me that. Alex lives with his family in Zelenograd, outside of Moscow. His days begin with a cup of tea and bread with butter. He works roughly 10 hours a day writing code, sitting in meetings, and managing his business. I asked him to describe the scene outside his window. Trees lie beyond the window, a bit further car garages and parking lots. On the horizon, a block of apartment houses, 14 floors tall. What is the most beautiful thing about Russia? Nature and people. I believe nature influences the character and mood of people. Therefore, I could say that the most beautiful thing is nature. Who inspires you? Those who speak less and do more. Entrepreneurs, volunteers. What do you want Americans to know about Russians? Not every Russian has a bear. Not all Russians drink a bottle of vodka a day. You can't understand foreign culture by watching TV, especially news. Talk to people, face to face. The internet gives you that ability. Help us understand the conflict in Ukraine. There are two sorts of Americans. The first sort started the chaos in Ukraine. They clearly understand why people kill each other and how to get profit from it. The thing they don't understand is that not all people easily give up their homes. The second sort are just regular Americans. I doubt many of them can find Ukraine on a map. They are fed the usual bullshit about evil Putin suppressing young democracy. Let's be honest, the US exported democracy to several countries in the last few years. Things there only became worse. Why do people still believe modern TV magic? That magic turns armed foreigners in Syria, backed by the US, into rebels fighting against a totalitarian regime. At the same time, it marks homeland defenders in Ukraine as terrorists. You believe Americans started the Ukraine conflict? Yes. I believe most of them are Americans. I also think the news is biased, and sometimes it lies, not only in the US. What is your opinion of the US? The elite went too far. Their security measures hit all Americans. I don't like US foreign policy. They use force too often. Sooner or later, the US will face a stronger opponent, unless they start World War III. What is your greatest fear? From my standpoint, the US currently is interested in starting global conflict. It has started lots of conflicts all around the world and continues to start them. My greatest fear is global war. I don't want my son to live in a post-apocalyptic world or even die. I don't say that all Americans want war, but they are ruled by those to whom God is money. These people don't care about casualties. What gives you hope? Russian fairy tales? Even if something horrible happens, they always have a happy end. So at first, my hope is that the good will defeat evil. There are many smart people everywhere. The internet helps to spread information very fast. I hope that intellect will save us from stupid and terrible things. And then the last piece is, I wrote right after the San Bernardino shootings, and it's just a personal essay. And I call it Peace for the World and the Orphan of San Bernardino. In California, a 6-month-old baby girl cries for her parents, waits for a mother and father who will never come. She is a victim of the San Bernardino, California mass shootings, an orphan of her parents' violence, an innocent whose only crime was being born to a disturbed, hate-driven couple, parents who abandoned their infant daughter in order to wage war on 31 innocent people at an office holiday party. On a sunny California day, they lost the final battle in a street shootout with police and FBI agents. What they left behind were many unanswered questions and a dark family history for their infant daughter to sort out one day. Pity the person who will share that history with her when she gets older. Try to help her make sense of it, if that's possible. Maybe, though, she'll be lucky. Maybe she will receive the love and support she needs to live a normal life, the strength to resist revenge, the wisdom to choose happiness and forgiveness over perpetuating her parents' legacy. That, I believe, is where it starts, where it must start if we are to stem the flow of violence around the world, lose our appetite for killing. Right now, the orphan child is an unfulfilled promise. She's like any other child anywhere in the world, an innocent who deserves what everyone deserves, a set of loving parents, birthday parties, friends, peace. Thank you.